When in that house MPs divide if they've a brain and cerebellum too, they got to leave that brain outside and vote just as their leaders tell them to. But when the prospect of a lot of dull MPs in close proximity, all thinking for themselves is what no man can face with equanimity, then let's rejoice with loud fa-la, fa-la-la, fa-la-la, that nature always does contrive, fa-la-la-la, that every boy and every gal that's born into the world alive is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. Fa-la-la, fa-la-la, is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. Fa-la-la.
Tonight is the second reading of his bill to throw open the peerage to competitive examination.
And he'll carry it too.
Carry it? Of course he will. He's a parliamentary Pickford. He carries everything.
Yes, if you please. That is our fault.
Abuse, you say?
Oh, it's true. We influence the members and convince them to vote just as he wishes. It's our system. It shortens the debate.
Well, but think what it all means. I don't so much mind for myself, but with a house of peers with no grandfathers worth mentioning, the country must go to the dogs.
I suppose it must.
I don't want to say anything against brains. I have a great respect for brains. I wish I had some myself. But hang it all, with a house of peers composed entirely of people of intellect, what's to become of the House of Commons?
I never thought of that.
Ha! This is what comes of women interfering in politics. It so happens that if there is an institution in Great Britain that is not susceptible of any improvement at all, it is the House of Peers.
When Britain really ruled the waves in good Queen Bess's time, the House of Peers made no pretense to intellectual eminence or scholarship sublime. Yet Britain won her proudest days in good Queen Bess's glorious days. Yes, Britain earned her proudest days in good Queen Bess's glorious days. Yes, Britain won her proudest days in good Queen Bess's glorious days. When Wellington thrashed Bonaparte, as any child may tell, the House of Peers throughout the war did nothing in particular and did
protégé of yours before it's too late. Think of the mischief you're doing.
We can't stop him now. Aren't they lovely? Why did you go and defy us, you great geese? Invictus, leave your throne. Your cares we do not heed. No, it's true we sigh, don't suppose. Tearful eye forgiveness shows. Oh no, we're very cross indeed. Yes, very cross. Don't go. It's true we sigh, but don't suppose. The tearful eye forgiveness shows. Oh no, we're very cross indeed. Yes, very cross. Don't go. Your disrespectful sneers, don't go. Call forth indignant tears, don't go. You break our laws, you are our thumb. We cry because we hate you so. You know. You very wicked peers, you wicked peers. Don't go. You break our laws, you are our foe. We cry because we hate you so. You know. You very wicked peers, you wicked peers. Don't go.
Our disrespectful sneers, ha ha, call forth indignant tears, ha ha. If that's the case, my dears,
Don't go.
we'll go.
Shame, shame upon you! Resist the fidelity to the laws you are bound to obey. Know ye not that it is death to marry a mortal?
Yes, but it is not death to wish to marry a mortal. If it were, you'd have to execute us all.
This is weakness. Subdue it.
I know it's weakness, but the weakness is so strong. We are not all as tough as you are.
Tough. Do you suppose that I am insensible to the effects of manly beauty? Why, look at that man. A perfect picture. Who are you, sir?
Private Willis, B Company's 1st Grenadier Guards.
You're a very fine fellow.
I am generally admired.
I can quite understand why. Now, here is a man whose physical attributes are simply God. That man has a most extraordinary effect upon me. If I were to yield to a natural impulse, I should fall down and worship that man. But I mortify this inclination, I wrestle with it, and it lies beneath my feet. That is how I treat my regard for that man. Oh, foolish faith, think you because his brave old brain my poor song stars, because I fly its realms above, in tendency to fall in love, resemble I the
be enough to make any girl happy. But I'm miserable. And don't suppose it's because I care for Strephon, because I hate him. No girl could care for a man who goes about with a mother considerably younger than himself.
Phyllis, my darling.
Phyllis, my own.
Don't! How dare you? Oh, unless you're the two gentlemen I'm engaged to.
I'm one of them.
I am the other.
Oh, in that case, my darling. My own. Well, have you decided which is to be?
Not altogether. It's rather a difficult position. Would be hardly delicate to toss up. On the whole, we'd rather leave it to you.
How could it possibly concern me? You are both earls, you're both rich, and you're both plain.
So we are. At least I am.
So am I.
No.
I am indeed very plain.
Well, perhaps you are.
There's really nothing to choose between you. If one of you will forego his estate and distribute it among his Irish tenantry, why then, I shall see a reason in choosing the other.
Tolloller, are you willing to make this sacrifice?
No.
Not even to oblige a lady?
Not even to oblige a lady.
Well then, the only question is, which of us is to give way to the other? Perhaps, on the whole, she would be happier with me. I don't know, I may be wrong.
No, I don't think you are. I used to believe she would. But the awkward part of the thing is, if you rob me of the girl of my heart, we must fight. One of us must die. It's a family tradition I've sworn to respect. It's a painful position, for I have a very strong regard for you, George.
Oh, my dear Thomas.
You're very dear to me, George. We were boys together, at least I was. Now, if I were to survive you, my existence would be hopelessly embittered.
Well, then you must not do it. I say it again and again. If it is going to have this effect on you, you must not do it. No. If one of us must destroy the other, let it be me.
No.
Yes, by our boyhood friendship, I implore you.
Well, be it so. But no. I cannot consent to an act which would crush you with unavailing remorse.
But it would not do so. Oh, I should be very sad at first. Who would not be? But it would wear off. I am very fond of you, but not, I think, as fond as you are of me.
George, you're a noble fellow, but that telltale tear betrays you. No, George, you're very fond of me, and I cannot consent to an act which would give you a week's uneasiness on my account.
But it would not last a week. Remember, you lead the House of Lords, and upon your demise, I will take your place. Oh, Thomas, it would not last a day.
Now, I do hope you're not going to fight about me, because it really isn't worthwhile.
Well, I don't believe it is.
Nor I. The sacred ties of friendship are paramount.
All wrongs I may incur your blame, the things of you I would not do in friendship's name.
And I may say I think the same, not even love should rank above true friendship's name.
And free me, my lovely, forget
me of me rest. Love, hopeless love, my ardent soul encumbers. Love, nightmare-like, lies heavy on my chest, and weaves itself into my midnight slumbers. When you're lying awake with a dismal headache and repose is tabooed by anxiety, I conceive you may use any language you choose to indulge in without impropriety. For your brain is on fire, the bedclothes conspire of usual slumber to plunder you. First your counterpane goes and uncovers your toes, then your sheet slips demurely from under you, and the blanketing tickles you feel like mixed tickles, so terribly sharp is the pricking. And you're hot and you're cross and you tumble and toss till there's nothing twixt you and the ticking. Then the bedclothes all creep to the ground in a heap, and you pick them all up in a tangle. Next your pillow resigns and politely declines to remain at its usual angle. Will you get some repose in the form of a doze with hot eyeballs and head ever aching? But your slumbering teems with such horrible dreams, you very much better be waking. For you dream you are crossing the channel and tossing about in a steamer from Harwich, which is something between a large bathing machine and a very small second-class carriage. And you're serving a treat, penny ice and cold meat, to a party of friends and relations. They're a ravenous horde, and they all came on board at Sloane Square and South Kensington stations. And bound on that journey, you find your attorney, who started that morning from Devon. He's a bit undersized, and you don't feel surprised when he tells you he's only 11. Well, you're riding like mad with this singular lad by the ship's now a four-wheeler. And you're playing round games, and he calls you bad names when you tell him that ties pay the dealer. Well, this you can't stand, so you throw up your hand, and you find you're as cold as an icicle. In your shirt and your socks, the black silk with gold clocks, crossing Salisbury Plain on a bicycle. And he and the crew are on bicycles too, which they've somehow or other invested in. And he's telling the tars of a particulars of a company he's interested in. It's a scheme of devices to get in low prices or goods from hot mixtures to cables, which tickled the sailors by treating retailers as though they were all vegetables. You get a good spadesman to plant a small tradesman, first take off his boots with a boot tree, and his feet will take root and his fingers will shoot, and he'll blossom and bud like a fruit tree. From the greengrocer tree you get grape and green pea, cauliflower, pineapple and cranberries, while the pastry cook plant cherry brandy will grant apple puffs and three-corners and banberries. The shares are a penny, and ever so many are taken by Rothschild and Baring, and just as a few are allotted to you, you awake with a shudder despairing. You're a regular wreck with a crick in your neck, and no wonder you snore, for your head's on the floor, and you've needles and pins from your soles to your shins. Your flesh is a creep, and your left leg's asleep. There's cramp in your toes and a fly on your nose, some puff in your lung and a feverish tongue, and a thirst is intense, and a general sense that you haven't been sleeping in clover. But the darkness is past, and it's daylight at last, though the night has been long. Ditto, ditto, my song. And thank goodness they're both of them all right.
We are much distressed to see your lordship in this condition.
Oh, my lords, it is seldom that a Lord Chancellor has occasion to envy the position of another, but I am free to confess I would rather be 2 earls engaged to Phyllis than any other half-dozen noblemen upon the face of the globe.
Yes, it's an enviable position when you're the only one.
Oh yes, no doubt most enviable. At the same time, seeing you thus, we naturally say to ourselves, this is very sad. His lordship is constitutionally as blithe as a bird. He trills upon the bench like a thing of song and gladness. His series of judgments in F sharp, given in Dante in 6/8 time, are among the most remarkable effects ever produced in a court of chancery. I think he is the only living judge whose decrees have earned the honor of a double encore. How can we bring ourselves to do that which would deprive the Court of Chancery of one of its most attractive features?
I feel the force of your remarks. I am here in 2 capacities, and they clash, my lords, they clash. I deeply grieve to say that upon my last application to myself, I presumed to address myself in terms which render it impossible for me ever to address myself again. Oh, it was a painful scene, my lord. Most painful.
This is what it is to have two capacities. Let us be thankful we are persons of no capacity whatever.
Come. Remember, you are a very just and kindly old gentleman, and need have no hesitation in approaching yourself, so that you do it respectfully and with a proper show of deference.
Do you really think so?
I do.
Well, I will nerve myself to one more effort, but if that fails, I resign myself to my fate.
If you go in, you're sure to win. Yours will be the charming maid. Be your lord, the ancient saw. Faint heart never won fair lady. Never, never, never. Faint heart never won fair lady. Every journey has an end. When the worst affairs will mend. Dark the dawn when day is nigh. Hustle your horse and don't say die.
He who shies at such a prize, he is not worth a model lady. Be so kind to bear in mind, fate must never want the lady.
Never, 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 fate heart never won fair lady. While the sun shines, make your hay. Where a will is, there's a way. Bear the lion in his lair. None but the brave deserve the fair.
I'll take heart and make a start, though I fear the prospects shady. Much I'd spend to gain my end. Faint heart never won fair lady. Never, never, never. Faint heart never won fair lady.
Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round.
Yes?
But I suppose I should say, my lady. I have not yet been informed which title your ladyship has pleased to select.
I haven't quite decided. You see, I have no mother to advise me.
No, I have.
Yes, a very young mother.
Not very, a couple of centuries or so.
Oh, she wears well.
She does. She's a fairy.
I beg your pardon? A what?
Oh, I've no longer any reason to conceal the fact. She's a fairy.
Fairy? That would explain quite a good many things. Then I suppose you're a fairy.
I'm half a fairy.
Which half?
The upper half, down to the waistcoat.
Dear me. There's nothing to show it.
Don't do that.
Well, why didn't you tell me this before?
I thought you'd take a dislike to me. But as it's all off, you may as well know the truth. I'm only half immortal.
Well, I'd rather have half a mortal I do love him, half a dozen I don't.
Oh, I think not. Go to your half dozen.
There's only two, and I hate them. Please forgive me.
I don't think I ought to. Besides, all sorts of difficulties will arise. You know, my grandmother looks quite as young as my mother. So do all my aunts.
I quite understand. Whenever I see you kissing a very young lady, I shall know it's an elderly relative.
You will? Then, Phyllis, I think we should be very happy.
You're going to break off.
No, we might change our minds. We'll get married first.
And change your minds afterwards?
That's the usual course. If we're weak enough to tarry, ere we marry, you and I, of the feeling I inspire, you may tire by and by. For here's a flowing chorus, press their offers, that is why I am sure we should not tarry, ere we marry, you and I.
If we're weak enough to tarry, ere we marry, you and I, with the more attractive maid or Jew, maid or you may born, if by chance we should be ported, broken, morted, I should die. So I think we should not tarry, ere we marry, you and I. Oh,
if we're weak enough to tarry, ere we marry, you and I, of the feeling I inspire, you may tire by and by. Of the feeling I inspire, you may tire by and by. If we're weak enough to tarry, ere we marry, you and I, of the feeling I inspire, you may tire by and by. So I think we should not tarry, ere we marry, you and I, you and I, you and I.
Does she know of her engagement?
She is. And thus, she welcomes her daughter-in-law.
And she kisses just like other people. But the Lord Chancellor.
I forgot him. Mother, none can resist your fairy eloquence. You will go to her and plead for us?
Strephon, it's impossible.
But our happiness, our very lives depend upon obtaining his consent.
Oh, madam, you cannot refuse to do this for us.
No! No, not what you ask. The Lord Chancellor. The Lord Chancellor. He is my husband.
Husband?
Yes. He's my husband, Strephon. He's your father.
Then her course is plain. Upon learning that Strephon is his son, all objections to our marriage would be once removed.
No, he must never know. He believes me to have died childless. And even though I love him, I am bound under penalty of death not to undeceive him.
They was there for one day.
But here, he comes. Quick, my veil.
Victory! Victory! Success has crowned my efforts, and I may consider myself engaged to Phyllis. At first I wouldn't hear of it. It was out of the question. But I took heart. I pointed out to myself that I was, after all, no stranger to myself. That in point of fact I had been personally acquainted with myself for some years. This had its effect. I admitted that I had watched my professional advancement with interest, and I handsomely added that I yielded to no one in admiration for my private and professional virtues. This was a great point gained. I then endeavored to work upon my feelings. Conceive my joy when I distinctly perceived a tear glistening in my own eye. At last, after a severe struggle with myself, I reluctantly, most reluctantly, consented.